Okay, a quick little live stream on this Saturday evening. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well, of course. 1 second, let me just sort this in the background. Perfect. All looks good. It all looks good. But yeah, we've got a decent fight tonight in Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring. Interesting title fight at super featherweight. Biggest test of Shakur Stevenson's career so far. I'm expecting him to come through in a relatively boring fight, but it's a good test. And I think after this fight, we're going to get a better idea of just how good Shakur Stevenson is. So I am looking forward to the fight. Will I stay up for it? Probably not, to be honest. I'll catch a copy in the morning, but it's a good fight. It's a good fight. The sort of fight we need from Shakur right now, in all honesty. But let me just look at this quickly. Okay, cool. Where are we? Okay. Sorry, I'm got a fucking million tabs open. Here we go. Big up to Nordic Warrior. Salute to Nordic every single time. Hopefully you're doing well. Big up to Chris, of course. Salute to Chris. Iceman in the building as well. Big up Iceman. Salute. Danny and Nad. Big up to Danny. Hopefully you guys are having a good Saturday wherever you are. Hopefully you're keeping well, nice and relaxed, not too stressed. Hopefully you're doing well. It's been a decent day, to be honest. I've not really got much done per se, but it's been a decent day, a decent weekend so far. So I can't complain. I can't complain too much. Locked outside my house at the moment. I've been there, bro. I've been there. It's fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible, man. But I've done that as well. I even done it in this place as well. This flat. I left my keys in the flat and fucking pushed the door because it locks automatically, kind of thing. And I locked myself out, so I had to fucking call the landlord, which was fucking embarrassing. But yeah, we've all been there, man. We've all been there. Big up to Andre. Salute. Who's your pick tonight? I've got Shakur Stevenson on points, to be honest. I think he's got a big advantage, Andre, when it comes to speed. Jamel Herring's not slow, but Shakur's a lot quicker, especially on his feet. Jamel Herring's feet aren't that quick, but his hand speed's decent, but Shakur is just quicker across the board. So I think Shakur's just going to outpoint Herring and get the job done, kind of thing. It won't be the most enthralling fight out there, but I think Shakur's going to be a bit too active, a bit too accurate, and a bit too quick. I think he'll get in there, land a couple of shots, get out, circle, jab, move, and he'll keep on making Jamel Herring reset. No, he wasn't. He wasn't in the corner on fight night. He wasn't in the corner. Yeah, that's what I think, bro. I think the speed of Shakur Stevenson is going to play a big factor in this fight. I think it's going to play a big factor. One thing as well, a lot of people aren't really considering is where is Herring right now in his career? He's been talking about retirement now for quite some time. After the Jonathan Oquendo fight, he was really down, saying that Carl Frampton was going to be his last fight, etc. And I think Jamel Herring's got one foot out of the door. And let's be honest, with Jamel Herring, I think people are really overrating that Carl Frampton win. Carl Frampton was never a super featherweight. He was old, he was past his best, and he was tiny compared to Jamel Herring. Look at Herring's fights before Frampton against Jonathan Oquendo and Lamont Roach. He didn't look good in those fights. He looked very beatable. And I think Shakur is going to outbox this guy. I really do. He's going to outspeed him, outslick him, and win on points. I can't see Jamel winning. I would like him to because he comes across a good dude, but I can't see it. That's not going to happen, Andre. I can't see Eddie Hearn putting Galahad in there with Navarrete. But having said that, maybe he will. Galahad's not exactly a name. There's nothing to lose there. But I think Navarrete will. I think he'll beat Galahad. Yeah, it's annoying, bro. It's annoying. You're freezing your bollocks off outside. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't in the corner. He wasn't in the corner. Yep, I've done that as well, Iceman. I've done that as well. We've all been there, man. We've all done something like that. Yeah, exactly, Andre. I think people are really I think they're overestimating Jamel Herring based on that fight. He's kind of basic, Jamel Herring. He's got nice technique. He does the basics well, but really he relies on size, Jamel Herring. And yeah, he's a bigger man than Stevenson, but I think Stevenson, like you said, is considerably quicker, far greater amateur pedigree, and I think he's a better point fighter, a better outboxer. So I've got Shakur Stevenson winning this fight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly as well. Yeah, he was looking for a way out against Oquendo. Yeah. Be nice. It'll be nice, man. But I just can't see it. I see a lot of people, though. A lot of people are picking Herring to win. I'm not sure what they're seeing. I see Herring as a guy who Herring can be definitely put in his place, and he can be frustrated. And yeah, I think Stevenson's going to do that. I really do. Exactly, and Carl Frampton always performed with a crowd. That fight with Herring was in an empty TV studio, and it fell flat on its paper. Yeah, flat as paper. Yeah, overrated win. I agree. Big up to the Quags. Oh dear. So do I, Andre. So do I, because I've not been impressed with Herring in his two fights before that. He looked good against Masayuki Ito. He looked good in that fight. But even before then, I recall him fighting some guy on PBC. I felt he won the fight, but he got robbed. But he still looked bad. So I think people are getting a bit. What's the word I'm looking for? I think they're hopeful more than anything, and it's clouding their judgment. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Herring is going to go in there and expose the young guy. Who knows? Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen, Iceman. I can't see it. I can't see it being a good fight. I'd be surprised. I think it might be intriguing kind of thing, but once that pace is set, once Shakur gets that rhythm down, I think it's going to be one way traffic, and it's not going to be great to watch. Yeah, the 2016 Olympics was a joke, complete joke, Brandon. Paul 123 in random talk. I slept with an escort last night. Kind of don't know how to feel. Should I be ashamed? Or is it fine considering I'm a single guy with the money to spend? Thoughts, please, people. Well, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't do it. But at the same time, I've gone on nights out, got with a girl, spent a bit of money on drinks and whatnot. I guess you just cut out you cut out the chase, really. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but each to their own. Each to their own, man. Hopefully you got a good service. Yeah, that straight left of the body, Andre, from Shakur Stevenson. I think that could be a good shot for him in this fight. And he really cuts a lot of weight as well, Jamel Herring. So yeah, the straight left of the body for Stevenson could be a key punch. Big up to Felipe Percha. Salute to Felipe. Man, a cute blonde chick who lives next door just asked me if I'm okay and if I need anything laughing my ass off. Such a shame that I'm taken already. Yeah, spoken for already. Yeah, exactly. And you can't really do anything because it's your neighbour, too close to home. If boxing can't fix itself, then it should not be. Sorry, then it should not be in the next games. To be honest, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset. I don't. To tell you the truth, bro, I watched like 2 or 3 fights from this Olympics. I really didn't pay attention because the last one was so fucking bad and so much corruption. I didn't even bother this time around. I didn't even bother. So yeah, I wouldn't be upset, Brandon, if that's the case. What is it? The AIBA, I think they are. They're a fucking joke. Fucking joke. Christ. Nothing wrong with that, Paul. Just make sure you're trying something kinky. Once you buy her dinner, she'll let you in. Remember that? Yep. Let you in her, yeah. Remember, yeah, exactly, Danny. What do you think of Dubois getting mandated for the Usyk Joshua winner? Yeah, I mean, I've heard about these rumors, but we'll see when we get to it. But I think Dubois needs some more seasoning. There's no doubt about it. He needs some more seasoning. He needs to fight tough, durable fringe contenders, get some rounds under his belt so he can improve. To me, again, after that Joyce fight, they should have pumped the brakes and slowed down. But it looks like they're just trying to put this guy into another big position without really getting the experience along the way. And I think the same thing's going to happen again with Dubois. Whether it's Usyk or Joshua, he'll get exposed. He'll get exposed. Like people. I've heard people now say, "Oh, Dubois could beat Joshua." That's nonsense. Joshua would go through Dubois like a doorway, in my opinion. He would destroy Dubois. He would destroy Dubois. I know Joshua got fucking tooled in his last fight, but fuck me, come on. People are overreactionary. Dubois needs to fight guys like who could Dubois fight realistically? Even someone like a Pulev. I know Pulev is shot to bits, but he's an awkward, tricky guy who can go rounds. That's the sort of learning fight Dubois needs right now. Someone like Pulev. And after Pulev, then maybe someone like Ajit Kabayel, an awkward, unbeaten guy who's got ambition. These are the sort of fights I think Dubois should be taking, to be honest. The AIBA do have a bias towards the Eastern Europeans, and professional boxing has a bias towards Western boxers. How ironic, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Both sides, though, both sides of the coin, man. It's rotten to the core. That's another shout. Yeah, Dubois versus Kuzmin. Yeah, these are the sort of fights I'm talking about. Yeah, like Kuzmin, Kabayel. Even like if you're looking at an older guy, Pulev. These are the sort of fights Dubois needs right now, in my opinion. He needs 3 or 4 of those sort of fights, and then try get back to the top kind of thing. And fight a genuine top 10 contender, but that's how I would do it with Dubois. Yeah, I've got no problem with it, Slime. I've got no problem with Haney Diaz. No problem at all. I think once again though, I think Jojo Diaz. I think that guy's a lazy super featherweight. He's not a lightweight, but it's a decent fight. Devin Haney needs an opponent, and he's the best available. So why not? It's a decent fight. And fair play to Diaz, he doesn't really avoid anybody, Jojo Diaz. Inoue Casimero, April 18th. Who have you got? I've got the monster inside 5 rounds. Is that official? Is that official, Chet Collins? Got me excited now, bro. Let me go on Twitter and have a look. I hope that's true. I hope that's true. So hang on. Is it official or isn't it? I'm not sure what you're saying, Chet, but I like the fight. Hopefully it happens. And I would pick Inoue to beat Casimero in 4 or 5 rounds. Danny says Pulev made a mistake by trying to KO AJ, in my opinion. If he boxed Joshua, he would have definitely reached 12 rounds and given him problems. I don't think he would, to be honest. Okay, so it was announced on Fight News. Fight News. What's Fight News? Let's find this website. Fight News. Tell you what, if that's true, it's a great fight. I can't see anything on Fight News on the website. Have you seen the new James Bond? Just been to see it. Thought it was decent. Think they shouldn't bother making any more though. Okay, I've not seen it, bro. I've not seen it. I don't really plan to. I've never really been a big James Bond fan, to tell you the truth. I do like a couple, but for the most part, it's not really my thing. It's not really my thing. It's not signed yet. I heard Jojo is trying to back out, and Maxi may fight Haney if Jojo backs out. Yeah, that'll be disappointing, Iceman. I'd much rather it be Jojo. Again, I know Jojo isn't a real lightweight, but he's game. He'll come to fight, and he is like somewhat relevant. Whereas Maxi Hughes is basically just a domestic level lightweight. So I'd rather see Jojo take that fight. But if he doesn't, it is what it is. I don't pay attention to him, Jay's Boxing Universe. Even after Fury Wilder 3, I never checked for any of their videos. I just can't be dealing with that sort of negativity. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to waste my time on them. But yeah, they'll do their thing with somebody else, another fighter. They'll start hyping those guys up. Maybe a Tank Davis, maybe Errol Spence. I don't know. Yeah, Matthias Masternak is still going strong, man. Good cruiserweight. Very good cruiserweight, Matthias Masternak out of Poland. Yeah, it's a good tournament, XMB. So it's Jamal James versus Butayev and Ugas versus Stanionis, and then the winners of that. I actually think Butayev beats Jamal James. I think Ugas beats Stanionis, and Ugas versus Butayev. I would favour Ugas in a close points win, but it's a hard fight to call. Don't be surprised if Butayev wins that tournament. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. I think Haney and Lopez will trash talk for years and marinate a fight that will never happen. I agree, Nordic. That's how it's appearing right now. These guys on DAZN talking about social media followers, who has more clout, etc. It's embarrassing. Either shut up or fight. Because it is a good fight. Haney not keen on Maxi. I can see why, though. I can see why Haney's not keen on Maxi. There's nothing in it for him. He's not going to get any credit. It's like... And nor should he for beating Maxi Hughes. And bear in mind, I'm not saying Maxi Hughes is a bad fighter. He's coming off some really good form, but at domestic level, so Maxi Hughes isn't a world-class fighter. Butayev by KO mid-rounds over Jamal James. Ugas robbery in a really poor performance. Okay, interesting. Exactly, yeah. Devin Haney's a big lightweight. Like, people don't realize that. He's a big lightweight. Like, people talk about Teofimo being a big lightweight. Devin Haney's even bigger. He's a big dude, Devin Haney. He'll be a legit welterweight in a few years. I bet if Gemma Collins was cast as a Bond girl, Dell would be rushing to the box office. Oh dear. Big up to Gary Taylor. He says, could Rowley piss Davis off enough to land a big shot and hurt Davis? I've got a funny feeling about this fight. I don't think Romero will win, by the way. Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm going in there supporting Rowley Romero. I think the guy is hilarious. His trash talk is so funny. His mannerisms, his squeaky little voice. I think the guy's hilarious. But in all seriousness, I think he's going to get knocked the fuck out. But I hope he wins, man. I hope he can make it an interesting fight. The only thing he's got going for him is that he does hit pretty hard. He is strong, and he's a big, big lightweight. He's a lot bigger than Tank Davis. That's really all he has going into this fight. and he needs to somehow make it work for himself. But I think he's gonna get flatlined, bro. I think he's gonna get flatlined. But I'd love to see him win. I'd love to see him win. I don't know why I find him funny, but he's just like a troll with boxing gloves on. I don't know why I find him funny. Yes, exactly. Get the likes up for those dweebs down at Silicon Valley. Facts. Smash the like. Gemma Collins would crush Bond if she went on top. Yeah, I'm rolling with Roly. Facts. Me too. Team Dwarf Slayer. Butayev is very underrated, being slept on badly. Yeah, he's a great body puncher, Alex Black. Maintains a good work rate, cuts the ring off quite well, hits relatively hard, technically sound. His fight with Vesputin was really good. Sean Connery was the only Bond. Yeah, Sean Connery was good. I didn't mind Pierce Brosnan in GoldenEye. I liked GoldenEye. That was a good movie. Daniel Craig is a soy boy Bond. Kellerman brought up Teofimo and Haney, and Ward said he's tired of hearing about them. I don't like Andre Ward, but I agree. I do agree. Until these guys fight each other, yeah, they can be quiet. Yeah, Haney cuts 20 to 24 pounds, according to Suleiman. Basically, yeah, he's like an Amazon version of Ricardo Mayorga, yeah. He's a Make-A-Wish version of Ricardo Mayorga. Rolly Romero, but I do like him. I do find him funny. Did you see Ugas' question on Twitter whether or not the WBA tournament being ordered was due to Gilberto Mendoza being Venezuelan and his desire to take down an anti-communist in Ugas? I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. It's kind of funny, but yeah, Ugas is a good follow on Twitter. He's a good follow on Twitter. He's a MAGA hat wearing Cuban who loves America. He's a good follow on Twitter, man. I do like Ugas outside the ring, actually. I do like him, but he's getting a little bit silly with this. We know the WBA are trying to clear up the belt situation, and that's what these tournaments are about. So, I like the tournament as well. I like the tournament. You think Rolly will get away with his roughhouse tactics? No, Danny, I don't think so. Don't be surprised if he gets himself disqualified, Danny. I think that could be worth a bet. Tank Davis by DQ. I could see Rolly getting disqualified for like fucking elbowing or biting or something stupid. Oh, bollocks. Big up to John Gonzalez. Salute to John. Straight out of Texas. I hope Davis and Roly-Poly knock each other out. I would laugh for days. I kind of like Rolly, man. I don't know why. I wouldn't be surprised if Rolly tries to lock up an armbar against Tank on fight night. Neither would I, bro. Neither would I. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no doubt. That was his only good Bond was GoldenEye. Yeah. Anything and everything, Robert. I'm just going through and answering your questions, really, and interacting, I guess you would say. Big up to that guy. Yeah, I don't care for Andre Ward, but he's right in regards to Teo and Devin Haney. I'm sick of hearing about these guys when they're not fighting each other. That's the thing. And it's funny, it's kind of funny as well, like this Tank Davis, Rolly Romero fight being on pay-per-view. Nobody's really complaining about it. It's a bad pay-per-view fight. It really is. I mean, Lomachenko's got criticism for fighting Richard Comey. I mean, Richard Comey, a former world champion, he knocked out Jackson Marinez easily, who beat Rolly Romero and got robbed. So Lomachenko's fighting a higher level of opponent than Tank Davis, and that's on regular ESPN, and he's getting more criticism. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Yeah, Rolly's the GOAT. If Rolly Romero beats Tank Davis, I would say that's the win of the year. That would be the upset of the year, in my opinion. Pretty sure Teo or his pops will attend that fight. Yeah, I'd say so. Big up to Tony Boswell. Much respect, Tony. Hopefully you're keeping well today, bro. Much respect. Thank you for coming by and dropping the like, man. It always helps the channel out. Is that Christopher Diaz, Shadow? Isaac Dogbay versus Christopher Diaz on the Crawford Porter undercard. Who have you got? That's going to be a good scrap. That is a very good fight. That's a very good undercard fight. It's going to be fireworks. Both guys are aggressive. I would say Christopher Diaz, though. Both guys, man, have taken a lot of punishment, though. Dogbay got fucked up by Navarrete twice, and Diaz got fucked up by Navarrete. So that's a hard fight to call. I would probably favour Diaz in a real hard fight. Yeah, Oscar Rivas. Yeah, Oscar Rivas beat Ryan Rizicki for the Bridgerweight title. Apparently, it was a really good fight. I've not seen it, though. I've not seen it. And I'll be honest, yeah, this whole Bridgerweight thing, if that division produces good fights, I will watch. So does boxing need the Bridgerweight division? Not really, but it is what it is, man. A good fight's a good fight. It could be called the fucking whatever weight. If it's a good fight, it's a good fight. Yeah, shout out to Ugas. No doubt, man. He seems like a cool cat outside the ring. He seems like a cool cat. Has Shannon Courtney serviced yet? Surely Hearn, as plugged into the mainstream as he is, really knows she's unpopular. Goodness knows why he keeps wasting his time there. She's got no upside. Maybe she draws ratings because people want her to lose. Maybe it's that. That's the only thing I can really think of. Iceman likes pretty much all of the 007 movies. None of them are bad. I've never been a big fan of James Bond, man. I kind of grew up with it, but going back now and watching them, not really my thing. Not really my thing. I actually quite liked License to Kill with Timothy Dalton. I actually quite liked that one. That was more serious. It wasn't quite as jokey or cheesy kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Badu Jack's with Pro Bellum now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Tony, man. I actually think Devin Haney wins that fight. I know most people are picking Tio, but I've got Devin Haney. Tio's a counterpuncher, right? He's a quick-handed counterpuncher who hits hard. He likes a guy coming onto him. He's not necessarily great at closing range, applying pressure, and creating his own openings. He's not really great at that. We saw that in the Nakatani fight. He really struggled with range in that fight, and I think he's going to struggle against Devin Haney. Haney's going to box and move, keep Tio turning, and I don't think Tio's going to be set to punch. I can see Tio getting outboxed in that fight. He could definitely land a shot and knock out Devin. That could happen, but I think stylistically, I think that's a hard fight for Tio. I really do. This question's coming up a lot lately on many boxing channels. I would say Ward wins, but Canelo gets the decision, like prime for prime. Ward wins, but Canelo gets the decision. The 2021 AIBA World Boxing Championship starts tomorrow, but I'm not excited because there's going to be robberies, but I hope some of the American amateurs dominate. Yeah, I never even knew, bro, that was coming up. Never even knew. Yeah, he is undisputed. Yeah, undisputed Bridgerweight champion. Facts. Rolly pound for pound #1 when he wins. I agree. Big up to Rolly Romero, a.k.a. the Dwarf Slayer, a.k.a. Mr. Bang's 7 out of 10 OnlyFans girls. Big up to Rolly Romero. Guys living the life. Turning up to that press conference in a mink coat. What's not to like? Top 5 pound for pound. I don't really have one, bro, to be honest with you. But I'd look at guys like Alexander Usyk, Naoya Inoue, guys like that. But I don't really do pound for pound. Yeah, my head is telling me Crawford wins on points, Robert. Crawford on points, but I'm rooting for Porter. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Diaz got fucked up by Ito as well. And he got outboxed by Shakur Stevenson also. But it's a good fight, though. They're like fringe contenders, but it's a good fight. Diaz versus Dogbe. It's a good fight. He's talking about fighting Lawrence Okole, J-Dav. He's talking about fighting Lawrence Okole. And I hope that fight happens. No idea, bro, Assad. No idea. I'm going to watch it in the morning. I'm not going to stay up for it. I'll be honest. I'm not going to stay up for it. There was once upon a time I would stay up for this sort of fight, but these days, man, I'd rather get a good night's sleep. I'd rather go to bed at some reasonable time. Big up to G-Man Boxing, by the way. Great, great channel. One of the best boxing channels on YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. A really good channel. So big up G-Man. I'm sure you guys know who G-Man is, man, but check him out if you haven't. Really, really good channel. Excellent channel. David Haye by knockout, I would say. Either David Haye early to mid knockout or Henry Cooper late, but I'd probably say David Haye. Can Huey Fury win a Bridgerweight title? It's a good shout. It's a good shout, Volks UK. Yeah, I think he could. I think he could. That's actually quite a good shout. Okay, so the Not Fake Cone had it 114-113 Riziki, in my opinion. Rivas lost, but it was a good fight. Yeah, I heard it was a close fight. Could have gone either way kind of thing. That's what I heard. I need to see it. I do need to see it. Prime Koto at 147 today. What do you think happens? Would he be the best welterweight? Okay, so Prime Koto. Let's say the Koto who beat Shane Mosley and Zab Judah. I think he beats Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. I think he beats those guys, no doubt. I'd pick him to beat Errol Spence. And you know what? I think I'd pick him to beat Terence Crawford. I think he'd beat all of these guys, a prime Koto. People forget how strong the welterweight division was back then when Koto was in that division, in his prime. It was a strong division. You had Mosley, Margarito, Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather, Joshua Clottey. It was a very strong division back then. Judah still knocking about. It was a really, really strong division. Paul Williams, of course. It was a really good division back then. So, yeah, I think Koto was in a harder era. And I think stylistically, he'll give all of these guys real trouble. And he could be the best welterweight. I agree, XMB. I agree. I felt Brosnan was underrated. Big up to Canelo Alvarez. Do you think Inoue will fight Donaire next or Casimero? Well, I've heard Casimiro's in with a shout, so I've got no idea, man. Either or, though. Either or I'm fine with. I guess I would prefer Casimero because it's something different. But I think, yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Right now, I'm thinking Beterbiev mid-round knockout. Marcus Brown, he can box. He is quick. Quick with hands and feet. He's nice and snappy with his straight punches, but his chin is so fucking bad. His chin is bad. So I would actually think Marcus Brown has a bit more success in that fight than people expect early on, and eventually he gets caught and knocked out. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. I agree. The Not Fake Cone. I'll be rooting for Haney in that fight. I think I would as well. I'm not a fan of Tio. It's a great fight. Jose Vargas versus Jose Zepeda. Haven't seen any film of Vargas personally, but would you say he's good enough to take care of this recent war-torn-looking Zepeda? Yeah, I've seen a bit of Vargas. He was with TMT for a little while. I've seen a few of his fights. I would describe him as like a boxer puncher type. Does the basics well. He is quite aggressive. So stylistically, I think it's going to make for a good fight, first and foremost. And if it's the same Zepeda who fought Hank Lundy, then he does have a chance in that fight. I think it should be competitive. I like that fight. I do like that fight. See, Iceman thought Dalton was the worst Bond. I quite liked him, man. A bit more serious. Shirley off EastEnders, Face Assassins. Taylor versus Lomachenko at 140. Who have you got? If they fought, Josh Taylor. I think he would overwhelm Lomachenko and win on points. I actually don't think he stops Loma. I think Loma can take care of himself and see the distance, but yeah. Rowley better get his grandma's coat back. Since AJ lost, has AKA Skins. I'm sure he's doing that poor sexually, yeah. I've not seen Skins for a while, G-Man. I've not seen him for a while. I've not seen him. Yeah, I want to see him fight Akole now while he has something left. I think that's the fight to make a cruiserweight. It's a really good fight because I'm pretty confident in picking Akole to beat Makabu and Gulamarian. I think he beats both of those guys, and I think Briedis beats both of those guys as well. But Lawrence Akole versus Briedis is a fight I can't really pick in my mind, so that's the fight I want to see. Boxing inflated even more. I can't fucking read tonight. Being inflated even more wouldn't do Vasily highly injury-prone Tech Lomachenko any favors. Taylor would beat Loma at 140. I agree. Assad has Akole fucking up Briedis. It could happen. He's taller, he's longer, heavier, stronger, and he's improving as a fighter. Akole is early on, obviously, he got a lot of criticism for holding, mauling. But as the fights have gone on, as his career's progressed, and especially under Shane McGuigan, he's starting to keep guys at the end of his punches a bit more, and he's really finding a home for that right hand, which carries a lot of power. So I think Akole, he's an improving fighter, and he might not be the most pretty to watch, but it's going to take a very good fighter to beat him at cruiserweight because of those physical dimensions that he does have. It's going to take a very good fighter to beat him. And for me, Briedis is the only one who's really got a chance at cruiser against Akole right now. That's how I see it, but it's a great fight. Yeah, Briedis, yeah, he is an elite fighter, Briedis, yeah, there's no doubt. Only thing about Briedis is that he is hot and cold. He is he is inconsistent at times. That's the only problem. But when he's at his best, he's a very good fighter. Very good fighter. Big up to Levi Khan. Salute to Levi. Oh, big up to Tony's reviews, by the way. Much respect, Tony. I've heard you on a few panels previously, and you always come with some heat, man. So big up to Tony's reviews. Big up to yourself. Big up to yourself, man. And big up to Chet Collins as well, man, for the contribution. Is it too soon for Shakur? I'm rocking with Herring in this one. Who have you all got? Herring TKO 10. Damn. Now I've got Shakur on points. Chet Collins. I've got Shakur on points. You know, just being the fresher fighter, the quicker fighter. He's quicker of both hand and foot. I think he'll get in and out. He'll land that straight left hand. He'll make Jamel Herring reset. And I think he'll outbox him and win on points in a low output fight. Stylistically, I don't think Herring really has much for Shakur Stevenson. Shakur's a guy who likes to manage the pace of a fight. And when you're fighting a low output guy like Jamel Herring, I can't see Herring's style really causing Shakur much problem. The only thing about Herring is he's taller and longer. That's the only thing I can see maybe troubling Shakur. But if height and reach isn't a factor, then Herring's got no chance. He's not as quick. He's not as technically sound, in my opinion. He's not as defensively sound. I think Shakur's going to outbox him. I really do. But maybe he could get old manned. He could get old manned. It's an interesting fight. It's an interesting fight. There's no doubt about it. And big up to Team Groves, by the way, long-term supporter. Big up to Team Groves. Herring is one of the nicest guys in boxing. It's a good test for Shakur. I agree. I do like Herring, and I would like him to win, but stylistically, I just can't see it. I really can't see it. Like I was saying previously, for me, Herring's win over Frampton is becoming a little bit overrated. I think people are looking too much into that. Herring was small, past his best. Frampton was small, past his best, and Frampton was never a super featherweight, in my opinion. Look at Herring's previous 2 fights before Carl Frampton. I don't think Herring looked good at all. I don't think he looked good at all, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I agree. Yeah, I think Rowley hits hard. He's strong, but he doesn't really have any skill. He's got no defense at all, no speed. He'll get knocked out, but Rowley just needs to make it a street fight, basically. That's all he can really do. It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah, Vernon Forrest would be interesting in today's era. Very tall, rangy welterweight. If he was in today's welterweight division, who would he beat? I think he would beat Sean Porter, Vernon Forrest. I think he would definitely beat Danny Garcia. I think he would have a good chance against Errol Spence. I think stylistically, I think he loses to Crawford. But I think Vernon Forrest would definitely be a champion in today's era. I agree, Levi. I agree. I think I'm very confident in Shakur. Andre Ward on points, UD. Although Zolt Erdi was a good fighter, he was a good technician, but Andre Ward on points. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That's what I saw on Twitter. Inoue is going to fight some guy called RN Daipen in December. Yeah, that guy actually fought Tommy Frank in the UK and lost. So there you go. He was juiced to the gills, Brew. That is true. He was fucking juiced to the gills. He was on rocket fuel. But, you know, he's still always been inconsistent, though, Brew, because I've been following Marcus Brown for a little while. And when I saw him first time around, I was actually very impressed. Then I saw his fight with Hot Rod in that 8-rounder, and he kind of got a gift decision in that fight. He got dropped, he got hurt, and I felt he lost that fight. And after that, he looked great against Campillo. He looked great against Badu Jack, but he also struggled with Lenin Castillo. He's always been the guy who's been hot and cold. When he's really on form, he's quite a good boxer, but he's one of those guys. He's got skill, he's got great athletic ability, but he never really puts it all together. He's one of those guys. Maybe it's something mentally with him, I'm not sure, but he's got skill. He does have ability. Yeah, exactly, G-Man. Brown has a very poor chin. I think speed early will cause Beterbiev problems, but the heavy shots will tell. I agree, G-Man. I agree. I heard something about it, Levi, but I didn't really check it out. Big up to Chet Collins again. He says, Chet. I've read it. But yeah, big up to Chet Collins again. I am operating on like 3 or 4 hours sleep. Had a late night last night, so I'm a little bit tired. Where's Ray Vargas? Last I heard, he broke his leg. He got stripped of his title, and I've not heard anything since. He was supposed to fight, who was it? Gary Russell Jr. That's who he was supposed to fight, but I've not heard any news on that. Yeah, Alec Baldwin is spraying guys down. He's shooting guys up. I'll big up to Tony Boswell as well, by the way, for the contribution. Much respect at Blue Collar Sports and the chat. Always enjoy the content and conversations. Much appreciated, Tony. Thank you for the support, bro. It always helps the channel out, man. It really does. The main thing is that you guys, just hit the like and share if you can. That's really the main thing, man. But, when you guys go that step further, it really is appreciated. It's appreciated, man. So big up to Tony. Much respect, Tony. Much respect. And again, hopefully your weekend's going good, man. Okay, so Ray Vargas. He's on the Canelo Plant undercard, which, by the way, easily looks like one of the weakest pay-per-view undercards of this year. I mean, you've got Anthony Durrell as a co-main event. Oh, my God. Alex thinks Briedis ices Okole in a Sven Otke, Anthony Mundine style down on the cards. That could happen. That could happen. Okole got knocked out and hurt in the amateurs. I do question his chin if he does get caught. So it could happen. It could happen. And I agree with Steve. Yeah, Okole will have 2 or 3 more fights at cruiserweight, then fight AJ as AJ's retirement fight at heavyweight, sort of passing of a matchroom heavyweight torch. I think I agree with you in regards to 2 or 3 more fights at cruiserweight, but I don't think he's going to fight AJ. I think they're close. I can't see it happening. What Joe Joyce fight would you want to see next? I would love a Chisora fight. Yeah, I'd like to see Joe Joyce just have a stay busy fight end of the year and then fight the winner of Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora 2. That's what I would like to see from Joe Joyce. Yeah, it could be that sort of fight, Shadow. Having said that, though, you could look at it in the law of averages, right? Basically, all of Shakur Stevenson's fights so far they've been boring, right? Maybe he's due an exciting fight. Maybe it could be this fight. I hope it is good. I hope it is exciting. No, XMB. I wouldn't personally. I actually think Devin's a better boxer than Shakur. Devin's a mover, but I wouldn't call Devin. I wouldn't necessarily call Devin outright negative. I would call Stevenson negative. I think Devin might out-hustle Shakur Stevenson, and I think Tio might be a bit too heavy-handed. I think Tio could actually get to Shakur, potentially. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Yeah, they have high hopes of Shakur at Top Rank. They do. Yeah, I like prospects like Colbert and Gary Antoine Russell, but they're too inactive for their age. In fact, Colbert isn't that young. That's the thing, though. Yeah, exactly. These guys are starting out, basically, getting into world level, and they're fighting once or twice a year. It's ridiculous. A guy like Gary Antoine Russell, he should be fighting 4 times a year at this stage. He should be fighting 4 times a year. What's he fought once this year? He fought the guy who Broner basically lost to. You know, the guy he got a robbery win over. He fought that guy. And I think that's really it. Okay, Bob Arum is talking up Fury versus White or Fury versus Joyce at Cardiff Stadium in March. Interesting. I love the idea of Fury Joyce, more so than Fury White, believe it or not. Yep, congratulations to Oscar Rivas. Big up to Bruce Goes. Salute to Bruce every single time. Hopefully you're keeping well, Bruce. Who would you have picked if Korobov versus Quillin actually happened? Korobov is a much better boxer, but Korobov is always injury prone, and he never had the greatest chin. I'd probably lean towards Korobov, but he could get caught in that fight prime for prime. I'd say Korobov, though, on points. Once again, though, big up to Tony Boswell for the contribution. Svenot KUD. Post-Tarver version of Roy Jones versus post-Ward version Kovalev. Oh, Kovalev. Yeah, I'd say Kovalev, to be honest, Brandon. Kovalev by knockout. Post-Tarver Roy was useless, basically. He was pretty much done. Who is the toughest mandatory challenger out of Egorov, Ronnie Rios, Marcus Brown, Jack Catterall, and George Kambosos? I would say Alexei Egorov for Gulamarian at cruiserweight. I think Egorov is the hardest one. I actually think Egorov might beat Gulamarian and become the new champion at cruiserweight. So I'd say Egorov. I can't see MJ Akhmadaliev losing to Rios. I can't see Baturbiev losing to Marcus Brown. I can't see Taylor losing to Catterall. And I can't see Tio losing to Kambosos. So I would say, yeah, Egorov. Big up to Lamb Chop. Salute. I would say Egorov as well, Alex. In fact, I think I'm picking Egorov to beat Gulamarian. Heard a few suggestions that Wilder would suit Bridgerweight. Not sure he would handle some of the cruiserweights pushing heavyweights. Yeah, I think Wilder needs to leave that alone. Just stay at heavyweight. There's money to be made. He could have a comeback fight with Miscellaneous, and if he wins that fight, a big fight with Andy Ruiz. The money's at heavyweight, really. He could probably get down to Bridgerweight, but he's not really going to get any credit. It's not really going to add anything onto his career, so he should stay at heavyweight. Ray Vargas, yeah, he's on. Yeah, that's it. He's on the Canelo undercard. Yeah. Yeah. I've not seen the fight yet, Levi, but I heard it was a good fight. Big up to Bad Nasher. Salute to Bad Nasher. I love that name, by the way. What's next for Spence? Will he ever box again? That's the thing, though. With Errol Spence, we just don't know. I mean, when that injury was first announced, it was a torn retina, like a tear in the retina. And after the fact, they said it was a detached retina, which is a lot worse. So if it's a detached retina, yeah, I mean, it could be very serious. And who knows when he's going to come back. And obviously, on top of that, he had a long time out with the car crash and recovering from that. A lot of inactivity. He's on the wrong side of 30 now. I think when it's all said and done with Errol Spence Jr., we'll look back at his career and say, what could have been if this guy actually took it seriously? I think that's the road Errol Spence Jr. is going down, to be honest. Because when he was on the come up, I was very high on Errol Spence. Very high on Errol Spence. But it's not quite worked out the way I thought it would. Which is a shame because I think he's a very good fighter to watch, Errol Spence. I think he's a very good fighter to watch. When it comes to the welterweights right now, like out of the champions, he's my favourite to watch, Errol Spence Jr. Yeah, that's it. Joyce versus Martin Bacole, yeah. No, Babic is fighting Molina, Shadow Combat. Yeah, I'd like to see it, Shadow Combat. I'd like to see it. It's a good fight. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that fight, Levi. I think Delorme at this point in time is just he's washed really. But at least Ennis is staying active. That's one thing I will say. He's staying active. Delorme does have somewhat of a name. He is experienced. He can box a bit, so it's okay. But he's got no chin, Delorme. He's got no chin. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Dubois versus Bacole. I'll take that fight any day. Yeah, I heard it wasn't a great card, but the main event apparently was good. So yeah, apparently Lewis Ritson got sick, Levi Khan. But what I would say really happened was he just pulled out of that fight because he signed a new contract with Probellum. That's what I think happened. They didn't want to risk it. That is true, XMB. With Ugas locked away in the WBA tournament, this should apply pressure on Spence to fight Crawford unless the PBC use Furman or somebody else they got. Yeah, I think we might see that Furman fight, XMB. We might see that Furman fight. Levi Khan says Herring is super tough, but they train together, so Shakur already knows his weaknesses, I fear. Exactly. And you have to ask yourself, is that why this fight is being made? They've got the inside scoop on Jamel Herring. And they're really high on Shakur Stevenson. He's where the money, he's where the house money's at. So Virgil Ortiz next fight. I mean, most of the top guys are like realistically. Do you mean so? In a realistically, I would say maybe someone like Rashidi Ellis, who's also with Golden Boy. He's an unbeaten welterweight prospect. decent hand speed, decent boxer technically. He's not great, but he's an unbeaten prospect. Why not? I wouldn't mind seeing that fight while Virgil is waiting for a shot. Best southpaw welterweight for Virgil to fight to stay active. That's a hard one. I'd have to. Do you know what? I'd have to look. I would literally have to look, bro. I think off the top of my head. You mean again? I'm looking at it from like a realistic standpoint. Who he could actually fight. Again, I'm not sure how realistic it is, but I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Daniil Yulusanov. I guess it is realistic though, because Yulusanov doesn't even have a promoter now, so you can just offer him that fight. Virgil Ortiz versus Yulusanov's a good fight. Yeah, I agree. XMB. I agree. Yeah, it could be one of those scenarios where we're seeing the fight, 4 years too late. Especially, definitely in Thurman's case, but even maybe in Errol's case. Oh, Carl Froch all day long. Carl Froch would dog walk Caleb Plant. He would dog walk Caleb Plant and more than likely stop him late. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yulusanov, yeah. I think it is realistic, though. I think it's realistic because, like I say, he's no longer with Eddie Hearn. He's a free agent. So why not? That's a decent fight. Former Olympic gold medalist, southpaw, 10-0. Why not? It's a good fight. Yep, fifth or sixth round. Teofimo by knockout. I feel sorry for Wallin. It's a sad week for boxing and a happy day for a bad society. We really wanted this fight. But why ever trust a former steroid user? I love boxing, but this destroys. I think who's going to go on there? Yeah. But I get what you're saying, JTL. I was disappointed as well with that fight falling through. And Otto Wallin has every right to be upset. And I've heard like Matchroom fanboys say that Otto Wallin is being unreasonable for demanding proof of injury. How's he being unreasonable? He spent tens of thousands of dollars on sparring partners, nutrition, taken time away from his family to set up camp. And you expect this guy just to say, okay, yeah, the fight's not happening. Of course you're going to want proof. Of course you're going to want to see something in writing from a doctor. And if that information isn't available, then maybe pursue it legally. Because you can't just sign a contract to take a fight and then withdraw with no real reason. And if you're saying it's an injury, you should be able to provide proof of injury. And if you can't, then it looks like you're fucking around. But yeah, I feel sorry for Otto Wallin. So yeah, apparently they offered Otto Wallin the fight with Alan Babic. But Otto Wallin said that, yeah, they offered me that fight, but they offered 25 grand. Yeah, so yeah. Matchroom right now, man, their PR is going down the fucking drain, especially with DAZN as well. DAZN, obviously, last week put out those surveys about pay-per-view, which didn't go down well. Now we have this fight fall through, apparently due to an injury, and the rest of the card is absolute shit. Eddie Hearn and DAZN right now are taking L's. Even Mikey Garcia. Eddie Hearn paid this guy in 2 fights $8.5 million for fighting Jesse Vargas and Sandor Martin. What did he get in return? Nothing. He wasted $8.5 million on a semi-retired boxer. And on the flip side, they're telling us money issues are surrounding Estrada Chocolatito too. Sorry, the third fight. That money's a problem. Well, maybe if you didn't waste so much money on guys like Mikey or Tevin Farmer or Andrade in bum fights, maybe they could put these fights together. It's ridiculous, man. Like the zone, the zone's first few years in boxing has been exactly the same as PBC. They've overpaid average fighters for taking shit fights, and as a result, these guys don't want to fight anybody now because they got used to being overpaid for fighting subpar competition, and now when the time comes to fight a good guy, they're going to want exorbitant, they're going to want silly money, which isn't there anymore. So the zone, PBC, and their payment structure and the finances, they've ruined a generation of fighters, in my opinion. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, Otto Wallin was he was a voluntary. They're totally ignoring the fact that Dillian White signed a contract to fight this guy on a certain date. Fair enough. If you're injured and you have proof of injury, you can't do anything about it. Fair enough. It is what it is. And Dillian White wouldn't have to reschedule it if he's got proof of injury. I can understand that. Fair enough. But you can't just pull out of a fight, say you've got an injury, and not provide any proof. Of course the other guy is going to be a bit upset by that, and especially considering the timing, with the WBC making their statement on Dillian White. The timing is too convenient. Come on, man. People are not stupid. And what's his name? Dimitri Salita, Otto Wallin's promoter. He's insinuating that they're gonna pursue legal action if they don't have what they want in regards to proof. So that could be a messy situation. Because if you renege on a contract lying about an injury and you can't provide proof, I'm sure there's some legal ramification there. Exactly, bro. Yeah, Eddie Hearn's having a rough patch, bad luck with this White and obvious pullout. Exactly. Who are Dillian White's doctors? Dr. Bellew, Dr. Barry Hearn, PhD. I don't mind sporting icons, to be honest. He's admitted that cheers for the UK guys. He's honest about it. So exactly, Brandon. $8.5 million they used that money to waste on Mikey. They could have done so much more with it. Exactly. Could have gave Chocolatito and Estrada 1 million each. Do you know what I mean? They could have made so many fights, bro, with that money. They could have made so many fights. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Salas is a good trainer. Exactly. Wallin had a main event slot in a reasonably big fight, yet people expect him not to complain or ask for proof of an injury, which has led to this fight being called off. Exactly. And they don't appreciate that this guy more than likely would have spent tens of thousands of dollars on camp, sparring, nutrition, etc., taking time away from family. He's basically wasted a whole bunch of money, and people expect this guy just to take it. And that's another thing. They call him the can man. At this point in time, the guy's ducked Anthony Joshua in a rematch. He ducked Kubrat Pulev. He ducked Luis Ortiz. And I'm saying he ducked Otto Wallin. Okay, you guys are not fans. There's no point. There's no point, Levi. If Mikey's not going to take the sport seriously, there's no point. He looked out of shape in that fight with Sandor Martin. Big up to BG London. Salute. I say Mikey should go for one more payday at 168 and fight Canelo. I'd love to see Mikey get splattered. Yeah. Mikey, man, I'll tell you what, whoever Mikey's financial advisors are and who does his negotiating, those guys deserve a fucking medal. To get paid $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas is insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I do like the fight. I do like the fight. Your old Dar. I do like it, but the whole Otto Wallin situation to me has been handled very poorly. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. If they could get that fight on the undercard, damn, I'd pay for it. Mind you, I paid for the first one as well. Yeah, I like Wallin and Helenius. Quadratilo Abdukakarov versus David Avanesian. I think Abdukakarov is a better boxer, but maybe Avanesian just overwhelms him. I might say Avanesian close decision, but I wouldn't really be committing on that, to be honest. The Zone could have secured all of the big lower weight fights for the amount they paid Farmer and Mikey. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's not a pay-per-view, Levi. It's a good fight. It's a good domestic fight, but it's not pay-per-view. I would describe Liam Williams and Chris Eubank Jr. as like fringe world level / European level. It's a really good fight, but it's not pay-per-view. Exactly, bro. And what did the Zone get out of it? What did they get out of it? Nothing. They didn't get any boost in subscriptions, more than likely. They never got any big fights on the end of it. They just burnt through $8.5 million on nothing, basically. Like, that is ridiculous. Big up to Big Boys Boxing, salute. Big up to Big Boys, man, salute. Once DAZN get their hands on Premiership rights via BT Sports purchase, they will be. Will they even be interested in boxing anymore? It's been a license to lose money for them. Exactly, yeah. They need to get football in the UK, no doubt. Premier League, Champions League, yeah. They need those big games. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is it. Wallin said he paid 10 to 15k for training camp on seconds out. Madness. Yeah, and people expect this guy not to be upset. Like, I don't see the problem in asking for proof. And why they can't provide that proof. Dillian the Bottle Snatcher White. He bottled an AJ rematch, walked away from a Pulev eliminator, choked against Wallin, and chose to purposely stagnate his supposed world title ambitions. Exactly. And the same with Luis Ortiz. People forget that the WBC ordered Luis Ortiz versus Dillian White. And Eddie Hearn tried to petition the WBC not to have that fight. They didn't want it. The articles are out there. And yeah, the Dillian White fanboys will say, well, Dillian White offered Luis Ortiz a fight. That may have happened, but it wasn't in accordance with when the WBC ordered that fight. They basically reneged it. So the whole Dillian White thing's been a big fucking PR campaign from day one. Has the guy fought some good competition? Yes. Does he have some good wins? Yes. Have there been worse fighters who have got heavyweight title shots? Yes. But this whole fucking media campaign painting Dillian White to be the most avoided heavyweight since Ernie Shavers is ridiculous. It's absolutely it's ridiculous. Yeah, I think Fury would win easily in a rematch, Nordic. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Mikey was a great mercenary. He was. Exactly, bro. Washing machine. In the UK, we've seen fights stopped for a lot less. We've seen fights stopped for a lot less, and it was caused by a punch. It wasn't a headbutt or anything like that. It was a punch. Yeah, Mikey robbed Matchroom and DAZN and ruined their entire USA takeover single-handedly, and he had a history of this So it's 1,000% on Matchroom DAZN, aka Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I mean, it's terrible business, Levi. Terrible business. When you're paying the likes of Tevin Farmer nearly $1 million to fight the likes of James Tennyson and John O'Carroll, there's a problem, man. That it sets a precedent for these fighters who are getting paid crazy amounts of money to fight C-level guys. What do you think's going to happen when these guys are called to fight a good fighter? They're going to want silly money, because if they're getting paid silly money to fight C-level guys, they're going to want even more silly money to fight somebody good, and that's why a lot of these fights don't happen. A lot of these guys are overpaid. A lot of these guys are overpaid because with the PBC and now DAZN, you have situations where promoters are basically spending money that isn't their own, and they're overpaying these guys, man. But the boxing model right now is not sustainable, particularly in the USA when it comes to PBC and DAZN. It's not sustainable, and it's going to ruin boxing. Like, Top Rank are doing their thing, but they're a business. They make their money, they put on their fights, and they put up the money. But DAZN, PBC don't. It's other people's money. And, you know, the likes of Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn, they're skimming off the top. They're going to get their percentage. They don't really care about what kind of climate they're setting in boxing, what kind of financial climate they're setting. They don't really care because they're skimming off the top. But when it's all said and done, I think the impact of Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn, in particular in US boxing, has been terrible. Absolutely terrible. Just my opinion. Big up to Vader D. Salute to Vader. Yeah, Rolly calling Tank a fat, ugly dwarf. Yeah. Rolly's going to go dwarf tossing. Not sure, bro. Last I heard, he was kind of with PBC, but I've not seen him for a while. Yeah, he'd have wasted a lot of money. No, I've got Shakur on points. Exactly. And do you think that's going to get reimbursed, those training costs? No. Yep. Yeah, how many days now? 2,000. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And he's lucky as well, man. He's lucky he's a fighter with profile as well, because we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, because he got knocked out by Povetkin, but luckily, as always, he's got a rematch clause. So the guy's fortunate, man, to be where he's at. He's been very carefully managed. He's taken certain fights. He has fought good fighters, and he does have good wins, but come on, man. Yeah, I heard it was a good fight, Big Boys Boxing. I saw you do a stream on it last night, and I didn't catch the actual fight, but I need to watch it. Apparently, that Ryan Vazicki took some big shots. Okay, what would be a bigger upset? Plant over Canelo or Sander Martin versus Mikey Garcia? I would say Plant over Canelo. I don't think Plant's got a chance, honestly. I really don't. I really hope Rolly wins. I can't under no circumstances back Tank. Yeah, I want Rolly to win as well, but Tank's going to fuck him up, let's be honest. Tank's going to fuck him up. Yeah, fight contracts should always have pull-out due to injury, etc. written into them, and possibly ensure the cost of camp. Always take precaution. Yeah, we don't really know what's in these contracts, but obviously if a guy gets injured, he can't fulfill that date. That happens all the time, and I'm sure there's things in the contract maybe to allow for a fight to be cancelled if there's an injury. But surely if you state there's an injury, you should provide proof. Legally, of course. Like, legally, I'm talking. You should have to provide some proof, right? You would have thought so anyway. Pimp My Sniper. I love that name, by the way. The fight we've all been craving for, lads. Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson. Tell me you ain't buzzing for this. Absolute state of it. Laugh out loud here. It's probably going to be a no knockout clause as well. But I don't think Mike's going to pay attention to it. If there's a clause in the contract saying Mike can't knock him out, he probably won't pay attention. Exactly, overpaying guys for nothing fights. Where's the incentive to make the real ones laugh out loud? Steve Kim made a good point about guaranteed purses killing boxing, and I totally agree. I totally agree. The current model, man, is not sustainable. Top Rank are the only ones in the USA doing it right because they're operating a business. It's their money which they're putting up, and they're not going to overpay these guys silly money for the most part, you know. But like I say, PBC, DAZN, the guys in charge, Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn, they're not spending their money. It's DAZN's money or it's Waddell and Reed's money. It's not their money, so. They've got an incentive to overpay these guys when you really think about it, because the manager or promoter gets their 10%, 15%, whatever it is. So it is what it is, man. Like Eddie Hearn is raking it in with DAZN, but I don't think he's doing anything great for boxing in the USA. I think he's damaging boxing. Just like I said about Al Heyman back in the day. Yeah, Sandor Martin's got to be a top 10 contender now at 140, and I agree. I'd like to see him in there with Ponce, Matthias, Arnold Barboza Jr. Any one of those guys is a great fight. And that's another thing with Dillian White. Look at that Parker fight. It was horribly officiated. One of the knockdowns wasn't even a knockdown. It was a fucking headbutt. And take that knockdown away, it's a much closer fight. Maybe it could have changed the course of a fight. Yeah, DAZN basically paid Canelo stupid money to collect the belts, then PBC get the undisputed fight. Nobody will remember who Canelo beat before Plant for undisputed. Exactly. Like the whole thing, man. They've wasted so much money that they're paying Golovkin silly money. They signed him under the proviso he would get a third Golovkin fight. Where's that fight? That's more wasted money. What are they paying Golovkin? 14 million a fight? It's ridiculous. I love Golovkin, but that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They're just burning money, pissing it up a wall, and they've got nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. Never got AJ Wilder. They never got Canelo Golovkin free. They never got Canelo in undisputed fight. They never got none of these fights. The Zone still haven't had that defining fight, like that mega fight. Logan Paul will batter Tyson. Okay, that's Ancajas versus Ioka. That in talks. Interesting. They never fought though previously. Overhand. Are you talking about somebody else for Ioka too? Do you mean Tanaka? Because I know Ancajas hasn't fought Ioka yet. But if they're talking about that fight, it's great. Exactly. 10K profit for fighting Davic, 15% for a trainer. Eddie's taking liberties, acting like that's a favor. Exactly, bro. And he just said as well, he spent 10 to 15K on camp. So he's basically he's more than likely not even breaking even. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Eddie says things like to pay fighters what they want. We need pay-per-view revenue. Then 2 days later, he's talking about how DAZN can pay $7 million to fighters and not do pay-per-view. Yeah. The whole DAZN thing's been a fucking disaster, let's be honest. Like, the whole concept of DAZN, I support, I like. And they have put on some good fights for us hardcores, no doubt about it, but it's been managed terribly, in my opinion. It's been managed awfully. Wilder looks so foolish now. He's 36 years old as of a few days ago. Best days are behind him. Still, he has options. I'll take a tune-up versus Miscellaneous. and then maybe another tune-up versus Ajagba, then go at the belts. I would say Helenius as a comeback because it's credible and it's winnable, and after that, a big fight with Ruiz. Can't really waste time now with Wilder. Yeah, it's a good rematch. I wouldn't mind seeing Martin versus Prograis. Yeah, that would be a great fight. Ponce versus Sandor. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. Arum is a much bigger snake than Hearn. Heyman doesn't even count because he's not even a promoter. He wastes other people's money to overplay black bums. But Eddie Hearn does the same. The only difference is he's a promoter. He's basically spending DAZN's budget, which isn't his money, and he's paying for absolute shit for the most part. Again, the whole DAZN thing's annoying, man. The whole DAZN thing's annoying. Yeah, exactly. Where are DAZN even getting the money from? They're investors. They got that Russian billionaire backing them. I forget his name. It's Len something. Len something. I don't know his name. Is it Len Brovotnik? I don't know his name, but they've got some Russian billionaire. Yeah, I mean, I've got a feeling it could be a fixed fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy Fury takes a dive washing machine. Yeah, DAZN UK looks like it's going to shit since raising the price to $7.99. Joshua's still on Sky box office. White's fight is cancelled. Canelo versus Plant is on BT. Yeah. Exactly. So take out that headbutt and give Parker that round as he was winning it, and White loses that fight on the cards. Would love a rematch, but White doesn't want to take that risk. Exactly. But that's another thing when it comes to Dillian White. They forget that fight about how controversial it actually was. It was controversial. That wasn't a knockdown. It was a bullshit knockdown, and it changed the course of a fight for a few rounds. Yeah, it was nice at $1.99 for the international boxing, but the UK DAZN is horrible, yeah. But Vader D, yeah. So September, I think it was September. There was Smith Fowler, there was Warrington Lara, and we were supposed to have White versus Wallin. If that was the standard, right, and it's consistent, I don't mind paying $7.99. I think that's okay, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's the White fight being cancelled, and the upcoming schedule doesn't look great. So it is what it is, man. Exactly. Eddie Hearn still hasn't learned. Demetrius Andrade is fighting Jay Quigley at the basketball court of Southern New Hampshire University, holds 1,200, and man's making $1 million per title defense. Exactly. There's no way, Levi, that show generates what it cost to put that card on. There's no way. And there's no way that sort of card is going to draw any new subscribers. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, Babic Molina main event. Yeah, I could see that happening, Big Boys Boxing. I could see that happening. If it does happen, Oscar Rivas is going to send Alan Babic into a different dimension, in my opinion. I think he knocks him out. Oh, you think Helenius beats Wilder? I think Wilder still gets to him first. I think he gets to him first. I think it's a good fight, though. But again, Wilder can't afford to waste time on some bum comeback opponent. He needs to fight somebody credible. And I think Helenius is the perfect guy. I really do. I think it's a good fight. He was, yeah. Eddie was doing great in the UK. He was doing his thing, and it was his money. It was his business. He was doing his thing. But I'm talking about Matchroom USA. I don't think they've done a great job at all. I think their impact on boxing has been negative in the USA, as was Al Heyman's when he came up with PBC. I think it's been negative. It's basically created a generation of entitled fighters who don't want to take challenges or fight tough contenders and things like that. Like Andrade, like Levi said, is a perfect example. He's out here fighting Jason Quigley, and he's getting paid more than likely $1 million to fight this dude, complaining about nobody wants to fight him. Well, Janibek was begging for that fight against Andrade. But do you think Andrade is going to fight Janibek for $1 million? Of course not. He's got no incentive to when he can get paid $1 million to fight Jason Quigley. Why would he fight Janibek? But it's ridiculous, man. Yeah, it was Nietes, yeah. Nietes fought Ioka. I felt Ioka beat him. But apparently Ioka versus Ancajas is being negotiated for December. That's a great fight overhand. Well, Golovkin's fighting in December overhand in Japan against Murata. Imagine that's on the same card. Ioka versus Ancajas and Golovkin Murata on the same card. Now that's a great card that DAZN could do. That's a great card. Yeah, I think Tommy Fury will lose. As Del said, I think he might take a dive for fame and money. Yeah, I agree. I can really see that happening. I can really see that happening. I wouldn't be shocked if Tommy Fury, quote unquote, gets knocked out. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, it's not really, is it? It's basically the same as Sky. Yeah. I think so as well, Hashman. I think so as well. And I think another thing with Eddie Hearn, when he went to America, he was far too what's the word I'm looking for? He kind of went in there with a very arrogant approach with that $1 billion deal. He rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, and a lot of people don't want to work with him, namely on the PBC side of things. A lot of those guys don't want to work with him. He burnt a lot of bridges, I think, Eddie Hearn, going into America. I don't think he done it the right way at all. And I think what he's doing right now, for the most part, is pretty substandard. And that's what frustrates me about boxing fans who'll say, oh, boxers get paid so much more than UFC fighters, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, they do. Boxing's more lucrative. But the pay structure in boxing is the other end of the scale to the UFC. Yeah, you could argue UFC fighters do get underpaid, but I would argue boxers get grossly overpaid, and that's not good for the sport. When boxing fans brag about fighters getting big purses, I think they're really misguided. I think that's a bad thing for boxing, that these guys are getting paid so much for fighting bums. It's a bad thing. Yeah, get paid when you're fighting a mega fight which generates numbers, ticket sales, pay-per-view numbers. Fair enough. Like Canelo Golovkin, for example, when those guys fought, they got paid a boatload of money, but those fights made money. They sold crazy tickets. They sold great pay-per-view numbers. That's when you should get paid. When you can truly sell, you can sell out an arena, or you can sell pay-per-view. That's when you should get paid. But until you're at that point, we shouldn't be seeing these crazy sums of money that we do see, in my opinion. Yeah, Ancajas has been inactive for a long time. The man has been a momentum of a car with slashed tyres. If an Ioka fight were to happen, that would be a big step in the right direction. Hopefully we see it. Yeah, and stylistically, Jiho Park, it'll be a great fight. Ancajas, a hard-punching southpaw, good counter-puncher as well. Ioka traditionally is quite aggressive. That's going to be a great fight. Yeah, exactly, Hashman. There's no real big fights. I think the best fight really is Shakur Stevenson and Jamel Herring. That really says it all. I think Wilder beats him as well. I think Wilder gets there first, Hashman. Helenius is going to be dangerous. He hits hard, but Wilder gets to him. I think Wilder gets to him. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Austin Williams went to Shutter Island last year. I do. Funnily enough, though, Levi Khan, I actually think Ammo Williams has some talent. I actually think he's an okay fighter, but mentally he's not there right now. Yeah, basically Jack Red King. Yeah, like he's got it so good right now. He can skim off that $1 billion deal because obviously the promoter's always going to get their cut. He's spending other people's money to make fights, and then he's taking some of that money as well. You got to see that Rivas Rozicki fight, Del. Rivas didn't look good compared to previous performances. He is like that sometimes, man. He in his fights he'll have moments where he's not really doing much. I think that's his build though. Like he's so muscle bound, so bulky, man. He can't really work for 12 rounds. Yeah, Wilder can't even take Fury's punch. Hashman, Helenius has a nuclear right hand. Wilder would get chinned in 3. That is true, but on the flip side, Helenius can't even take what's his face's punch, Washington's punch. So neither guy's got a great chin. Both guys can crack, but I think Wilder's quicker. I think Wilder gets there first. Yeah, Len Blavatnik, yeah, he's worth 23 billion. He can't be satisfied by his own progress over the last 2 years. Yeah, listen, he's got all the money in the world, but he doesn't want to burn money. He doesn't want to waste money on a venture. Eventually, he wants to see a return, and right now, he's probably not. Maybe overall, I'm not sure how the zone are globally, but in the USA and in the UK, they're burning money. Yeah, the casuals would, Hashman. The casuals no doubt would, but like us hardcore fans, we would see that for what it is and say that's a great fight. That's a dangerous fight. But Jason Quigley, the casuals are going to say that's a shit fight, and the hardcores are going to say it's a shit fight. He gets more out of beating Janabek. He still gets more out of winning that fight. I think so, Hashman. I think so as well. When he came back, so he was with PBC, wasn't he? No, hang on. He was 154 champion, and then he took some time out of a ring due to legal contract issues. He came back against Willie Nelson, I think it was. I think it was Willie Nelson, and he looked great in that fight. And at that point, I thought, maybe this guy can go on to be a really, really good fighter, a dominant world champion. But it's not really worked out. It's not really worked out for Andrade. Interesting. Tommy Fury isn't going to take a dive. He's going to get his ass whooped. The dude can't fight at all, and Jake can. I agree with that. Tommy can't really fight. I don't think Jake can, to be honest. It's a fight between two amateurs, essentially. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. Weirdly, though, that could be an evenly matched fight. It could be quite good for what it is. Yeah, Nikita Ababi. Yeah, Nikita Ababi. I don't rate that guy at all. He's a knockout waiting to happen. He's a knockout waiting to happen. And they had a couple of other guys losing as well. Was it Raymond Ford? Did he lose? Or is it Ofer Jones? One of those guys lost. Nkosi Solomon was their heavyweight prospect. He lost. Like most of those amateurs DAZN signed early on, they've done nothing. Diego Pacheco looks okay. Mark Castro looks okay. But really, those are the only two who I can say, yeah, they've got something maybe. No, he already took that fight, Vader. He won that fight, but didn't look that great. Tunde Roadman Killer Ajayi was hilarious at the press conference. Yeah. Fucking Pat Barrett said he's going to punch him up. Yeah, Pat Barrett would fuck him up, though. Pat Barrett used to be a good fighter back in the day. You know, Pat Barrett's got no time for Tunde Ajayi at all. Usually Pat Barrett is quite calm and composed, but he was raging, man. He was raging. That's up to Eddie Hearn, man. It's up to Eddie Hearn. I think maybe Eddie needs to offer him out and maybe have him fight on a rival promoter show. But I'm not sure what the answer is for Andrade. I'm really not. I'm not sure what the answer is. I don't like watching the guy fight, but I still want to see him fight the elite guys in the division. See how good he is, truly. I don't understand why Eddie did not just focus on the UK boxing. Boxing in the UK was on a roll, and then Eddie focused on America and fed all of his fighters to American hype jobs. Yeah, as soon as Eddie went to the USA, like the quality of UK boxing became so diluted because a lot of these guys were getting sent overseas, and the quality of the UK shows went downhill. So yeah, it's had a knock-on effect for UK boxing as well, no doubt. I watched Michael Bent versus Herbie Hyde in the 1990s fight today, heavyweight fight. What a fight, yeah. Yeah, Michael Bent and Herbie Hyde, yeah. Damn. Because Herbie beat Michael Bent. Because Michael Bent beat Tommy Morrison. Yeah, I think boxers have it so much better now. So many promotions and networks in the sport just now know that boxers can demand multi-fight deals with guarantees that was never an option before. But eventually the bubble has to burst. It always does. The bubble has to burst and things need to be reset. And yeah, when that does happen, we might get a few bleak years in boxing, but I think it's ultimately that day will be good for the sport because things as it stands right now, it's not really sustainable in my opinion, how boxing's being run currently. Basically, yeah, heavyweight division is closed until 2022. Yeah. He was, yeah, very, very big puncher, Herbie Hyde, Nordic. I think Herbie Hyde, though, his problem was he should have always been a cruiserweight. Like, I'm sure he would have been a cruiserweight champion in the 90s. He would have held some belts. Maybe you're right, Coinblatter, but I can't see it. Like, Helenius himself's been destroyed a few times, like by Johan Dubois, Washington, you know, so it's one of those, man. I get where you're coming from. I could see Helenius landing at that big shot and knocking him out. It could happen, no doubt. He's got the power to do it, but let's not act like Helenius himself isn't extremely fragile, because he is. That's why it's a good fight. That's why I say that's the fight to come back to for Wilder, because it is credible and it is winnable. So let's make that fight. Exactly. UFC has a model that will last for the future. Boxing promoters are not building anything up. It's all about quick money. I totally agree, Overhand. It's all about the now. It's all about the now. It's not about building a sustainable future for boxing. Ammo Williams sounds like a Welsh doomsday prepper. Levi thinks Wilder would stop Helenius as well. Yeah, especially with Helenius fighting hands down like he was against Kalnacki. That's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, no doubt, Helenius hits way harder than Fury. So if he lands, he can definitely hurt Wilder and maybe knock him out. I'm not disputing that, but I wouldn't. I don't understand why anybody would pick Hellenius confidently in that fight, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a great fight. I think it's a very good fight. Yep, I think the zone paid Canelo upwards of 50 million to fight Callum Smith, Yildirim, and Billy Ho. Yeah, I think the Billy Ho fight actually had some traction, though. Like, people were actually talking about that fight, to be fair. That fight to me had some traction, but nobody was talking about Yildirim, and nobody was really excited for the Callum Smith fight. Coin Blatter, he's very confident. He'll put a cheeky 1K on Hellenius if Wilder's people are stupid enough to make that fight. I think Wilder. I think he might lose that money, man. Yeah, Big Baby's coming back. Yeah, he's with what's his name, Kevin Cunningham. Yeah, Big Baby's coming back. I think his ban ends in December, and he wants to come back early next year. I was looking at him on the pads, BG London, and he looked terrible. So maybe a clean Jarrell Miller's going to be useless. It is crazy, yeah. It is crazy. Really, Golovkin, I would have liked him to have fought in the summer, but it is what it is. Yeah, he's a good prospect, Washing Machine. Yeah, no doubt, man. He's a good prospect. He can hit hard. He's a good counter puncher. That's a good fight, to be fair. But again, it's not earth shattering, but it's a good fight for the hardcores. Munguia versus Rosado. I like that fight. Yeah, he KO'd him. Yeah, no, he basically made Rob Grant quit, or his corner pulled him out. One of the two, I forget. Why not, man? To be fair though, both of those guys have taken a lot of damage, man. So that could be fun. But I think Wilder knocks him out as well. Bad Nesha, 100 bags for Maya per show is mental. The zone must be hemorrhaging money. Yeah. Who got banned? Who got banned? I've not banned anybody. Exactly, Washing Machine. Yeah, welcome back to Disturbed Reality. Yeah, I once heard Nikita White Chocolate outboxed Tyson Fury, knocked out Usyk, and out wrestled a Coley all in the same sparring session. Yeah, he's bad though, Nikita. He's not great. Just looks like a knockout waiting to happen. He's got a bit of a profile. I think he sells a few tickets, but I can't really see him doing anything, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, that is what it is. Benavidez will probably be the first guy to knock out Uskatigi. Wear him down and knock him out late, I would say. Yeah, William Zepeda, he fought Hector Tanajara, yeah. And he knocked him out with body shots, I believe, if my memory is correct. Yeah, he looked good. He does look good. He does look good. He's one guy nobody's really talking about at lightweight. I'd love to see him fight Isaac Cruz. I know that's not going to happen because Isaac Cruz is with PBC, but that would be a great fight. I heard things a long while ago, Jared, that Anthony Yard wants to see the back of Tunde. Like, he doesn't want him anymore. But there's more to that situation than meets the eye. There's more to that than meets the eye. That's what I heard, but I'm not sure what's going on there. It's weird. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. BG London Yard was kind of disrespectful to Tunde. Something isn't right there. Yeah, I've heard for a little while that Yard wants to break away from Tunde, but there must be something like contractually that is stopping him doing that. There has to be something. I'm not sure what it is. that video was gnarly, no doubt. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a good domestic scene pre-DAZN. Yeah, and ever since then, it's kind of gone downhill. We're not getting the same sort of domestic dust ups. It just seems stagnant right now in the UK. Yeah, exactly. Why not take that fight? It's a great fight, man. It's a great fight. I get what Hashman is saying. A lot of casual fans are not going to know who Janibek is, and they're not really going to give him any credit if he wins. But hardcore boxing fans know better. We know that's a great fight. But the Jason Quigley fight, like casual fans are not going to give him credit. Neither are hardcore fans. At least he'll get some credit for beating Janibek if he did. No, it's Jamal James versus what's his name? It's Jamal James versus Butayev and Ugas versus Stanionis. No, I still think Caleb Plant gets fucked up in that fight. He might have a bit of success early on, boxing from range and keeping Canelo at arm's length maybe for a couple of rounds. But as soon as Canelo starts finding that body and realizing that Plant has zero power and nothing for him, he's going to walk through him, in my opinion. Caleb Plant, one punch at a time, no power. He sits on the ropes far too much with that side-on profile. He's open for the overhand right. Caleb Truax couldn't miss that shot when he threw it. I think Plant's going to get fucked up. I really do. I think Plant's one of those guys. He's one of those fighters who deceives a lot of boxing fans. They see that side-on profile, the shoulder roll, the slick movements now and again, the quick jab, and they think this guy's a technical master, but he does a lot wrong. He puts himself in harm's way too much with his feet. He sits on the ropes too much. Single shots. I don't think his reflexes are good enough to fight in a shoulder roll defense also. And his gas tank as well is another thing. His gas tank is suspect. Look at the Porky Medina fight in the last 3 rounds. He was gassing. Look at the Uskotigi fight in the last 3 rounds. He was gassing. And he's going to gas badly against Canelo when Canelo finds that body. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Plant quits, to be honest. Like, takes a knee. You might be right, but I think Miscellaneous has power to make it interesting. I think that's a good fight. Big Baby Miller versus Wilder. Yes, I'd love that fight. I'd love that fight. Yeah, Big Baby should get revenge for his best friend Kalnaki. Yeah, exactly. Get Big Baby versus Miscellaneous. Yeah, he's out on a Sky Show washing machine towards the end of the year. No opponent yet, but he's definitely fighting again. Del, how can you do those disturbed videos? You actually watch all of that footage? You don't want to look at it the less you become the abyss. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, man. I do watch them, but I guess I can just, what's the word? How would I just describe it? I recognize they're extremely bad, and yeah, they're gruesome to look at, and I feel bad for certain people involved in those videos, but I can just kind of decompartmentalize and look at it for what it is, I guess I would say. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I know a lot of people would watch those videos and it would stick with them, and it's not for everybody, but I guess I can just kind of stomach them. I don't know why. And then I get the question, oh, are you a psychopath or a sociopath? I mean, absolutely not. I get triggered by random things like the other day, well, a few weeks ago now, I was at the shop. I forgot what I was getting, but I was at the shop, picking up a couple of bits. And the dude in front of me at the till, he was like laying into this young girl at the till. like proper laying into her, and like she was on the verge of tears, and that triggered me so much. I felt so sorry for her, and it wound me up, man. It ruined my day, kind of thing. So it's weird, man. I can watch those videos and I don't get too affected, but I'm definitely not a sociopath. Put it that way. I get wound up too much. I feel bad for people too much to be a fucking sociopath. No idea. Hashman Boxing. I thought he was supposed to fight Jeremiah Ponce. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, supposed to fight Ponce in the Eliminator. Yeah. 50 quid on Herring at 7-1. It's worth a bet. It's worth a bet, but I can't see it. Oh yeah, I saw that BG London that he was in hospital. Yeah, I've not seen eye to eye with Porky, but yeah, hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he's not too seriously ill, and hopefully he gets better. I think he's on the mend now, which is good. I think he's on the mend now. Yeah, he does. He comes across as like a know-it-all, Tunde Ajayi. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That and that was a 10-8 round, Tony's review. That was a 10-8 round as well. Canelo had a 100% connect rate against Caleb Plant. Yeah, no doubt. Gas tank is definitely suspect, especially against Jose. Interesting. I watched an interesting video recently on YouTube called The Mike Tyson Hoax. Very interesting video and highly recommended. I'll give that a watch. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I saw that overhand. I don't get what the problem is. Stanionis isn't great. Like Ugas should beat Stanionis, to be honest. Big up to G Junior. Yeah, facts. Washing machine, and that's another misconception that it it doesn't desensitize you to violence at all. Like watching that sort of shit online. If you like, I've seen the worst thing I've seen in real life was in Luton, and it was the aftermath of a stabbing. Some guy got stabbed in the leg, and he was basically waiting for an ambulance, and he was sitting on the ground, and there was like a puddle of blood next to his thigh where he got stabbed, and the blood, you could see the fucking street light kind of reflect into the blood. It was such a gnarly fucking sight, man, and it hits so much different when you see it in real life. The whole argument that it desensitizes you, to me, is I don't buy it personally. Not for me, at least, anyway. No, I've no idea, bro. No idea what you're referring to there. I've not been watching it though. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, Team Rowley. Yeah, tells a psycho. I don't feel high energy, bro. I feel like I can barely string a sentence together. I'm operating on like 3 or 4 hours sleep. Yeah, Tunde. Now, Tunde comes across as somebody who's got some sort of like social disorder, I guess I would say. How he interacts with people is so unnatural. I guess is the best way to describe it. He's definitely a weirdo. Yeah, Riddick Bowe versus Larry Donald. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Nordic. Big up to King Ebenezer. Salute to King Ebenezer. By the way, guys, if you could smash the like, it'd be much appreciated. Yeah, Big Baby Miller posting sparring pics with Christopher Lovejoy's comedy. The Jones write themselves. It's too funny. That's a fight we need. Christopher Lovejoy versus Big Baby. Yeah, we all have those weird tendencies, things we find funny or things that make us angry or things that don't bother us at all. Yeah, like those videos, like I wouldn't say they don't bother me. Like watching them is not enjoyable at all. And certain videos have it does kind of play on your mind for a little bit afterwards. Like, so for example, like researching the case for like Porsche Girl, there's no video involved in that case, just pictures, but the whole story is really sad to me. And things like Dagestan Massacre, Three Guys, One Hammer, all that shit is really, really sad. The cartel stuff is a bit different because it's like dog eat dog. The guys who it's happening to, like, do that shit to other people. Like the Ghost Rider guy, for example. That guy was a certified killer, Sicario. He liked to torture other people, and it happened to him. So emotionally, the cartel videos don't get to me. But other videos have, you know. They're not one in the same. Yeah, I saw the Alec Baldwin thing, yeah. I love road rage incidents, Nordic. I know what you're saying, yeah. Like yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, maybe Asperger's with Tunde. I can see that. He definitely has some sort of social disorder, in my opinion. There's a few guys like that in boxing, though. I felt the same way about Daniel Dubois, how he interacts with people. I think he's got some sort of, like, you know, some social thing going on there. I try my best, man. I thank you, though. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, Tunde is distant but nasty at the same time. Yeah, when I got stabbed in the arm, there was blood squirting out like a cracked pipe or something. I'm surprised I never passed out, laugh out loud. That's gnarly, man. I've never been stabbed. I've been punched up. That's really about it. But I've never been stabbed. I've been threatened with a knife, but I've never been stabbed. Thank God. So let's say Andy Ruiz does get the Wilder or Fury fight, and he wins. Would that would do an amazing thing for his career? Yeah, if he could beat Wilder or Fury, especially Fury, yeah, that would be a huge win for Andy Ruiz. But to be honest, I think stylistically Tyson Fury's all wrong for Andy. But Andy's got a chance against Wilder. He could easily knock out Wilder. That'd be a great fight. Yeah, exactly, Volks UK. Floyd Cummings was the original Baby Miller. I'm not sure who Floyd Cummings is, to be honest with you. Yeah, the ISIS videos are pretty bad. Because they're like fucking shot in 4K as well, man. They're fucking bad. They're bad. Guy was drunk at 9 a.m. in the morning and was driving on the wrong side of a road, dodging incoming traffic and outmaneuvering the police for ages. Laugh out loud. I could not contain my laughter. Yeah, wouldn't you like... That's something I've always wanted to experience. I'd love to be like in a police chase. Like, I'd love to experience like the rush of that. Just, you know, see how long I could last without getting caught. That must be such a rush. Like being involved in a police chase. Can you imagine? Like, if I could experience one thing without suffering consequences, that might be it. Like, just get in a police chase. Yo, your disturbed reality. Glad to see you've got another channel. I could listen to you talk about anything. No, thank you, man, C4J. I need to do some streams on the other channel. I do need to start streaming on the other channel, but I've been thinking about how to do it. You know, like presentation-wise. I could do something like this maybe as a one-off, just to get to know the audience on the second channel. But I would want to do something more long term and make something a bit more special. I guess I would say. I was badly beaten boxing and ended up in hospital with PTSD for 18 months. Damn. Okay, Joe Fraser's last fight. I've not seen that fight then. I've not seen that fight. There a copy on YouTube? Have a look. I'm sure there's a copy on YouTube. I might watch this. I always need new things to watch, so just gonna quickly look at it now. Oh yeah, this dude looks fucking juiced. Just looking at some highlights. Yeah, this guy looks jacked. $1981. Yeah, well, Eddie Hearn was basically saying he's not really made any decision in regards to Rob McCracken. Basically, what he said was AJ's just looking around, trying to pick up new things, but there's no real decision yet on Joshua's new trainer, if there will be one, of course. We'll just have to see. Volts UK, I'm 10-0 in police car pursuit still. Fuck you know. I joyrided as a 14-year-old. I used to break into cars as a kid hundreds of times. It was a release from being bullied at school. I once stole a car aged 15 and drove it to Liverpool. Fucking hell. I've been stabbed in the leg and arm. I just felt something wet and cold 10 minutes later after the fight. Damn. That's that adrenaline, though. Like, you didn't even realize. That's fucking crazy, man. That's the thing, though. Like, once you do realize, I'd imagine you start to, like, panic kind of thing. I would. I'd fucking panic. Corsas and Hondas were the easiest. Honda Civics. Yeah, no doubt. G Junior. They actually showed that on the Fox website as well, Fox USA, which is crazy. Yeah, she did. Yeah, called him a fat fuck. Yeah. No, I think it was to Shane Fury actually, but yeah, she called somebody a fat fuck. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Welcome to Disturbed Reality. Today we're going to cover the horrendous yet thrilling traffic accident. My horrendous yet thrilling traffic accident. Yeah. When do you think was the roughest era in recent modern Britain? Has to be the 90s. Less technology, more visceral, and you were lucky to get to MP on a mobile phone, so less evidence. Yeah. Yeah, in London, yeah, like Brixton and Hackney and whatnot, yeah. I was born in the wrong generation. Honestly, I was born in the wrong generation. So I was born in 1994, but basically, I grew up, I guess I would say, in the 2000s. So I wish I was born a bit earlier. So I got to grow up in the 90s. The 90s just seemed a much better decade. Yeah, that damn AJ is like reality TV. The Bachelor and the winning trainer gets the rose. It's funny you say that, Bruce goes. I thought the exact same thing. Like, it's all public, it's all out there. It's kind of, I think it's. I'll be honest. If he is changing trainer, I think the way he's gone about it is very disrespectful to Rob McCracken. To put it out in public like that, I think it's a little bit disrespectful, a little bit tasteless. But it is what it is. That's Joshua. That's his thing, innit? He's everything he does is going to be on social media. That's his style, I guess. But Okay, so the 90s were complete garbage. The 80s were amazing. 2000s amazing. 2010 to 2010 to 2020 garbage. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, man. You lived it, man. C4J, the 90s were surreal. Muller's 27. The 90s was the last decade of human freedom before the smartphone came. Yeah, it's got a lot to answer for. The internet, smartphones, technology. Yeah, they bring positives, of course, but it feels like there's no sense of community now, um, particularly here in the UK. Like I don't really know any of my neighbours or anything like that. I don't know anybody on my street. Everyone's so caught up in their own. Okay, be glad you didn't grow up in the 90s. It's like the purgatory decade. 90s had the best cartoons and the best sweets. Yeah, I can imagine, bro. Of course, I was panicking. I checked my body like a madman. The 90s had the best pills. Yeah, 90s music is good, actually. I know 90s music gets a lot of fucking shit and stick, but there's some 90s bangers out there. Certainly being used that way now. Maybe I'm being too harsh on the 90s. I had some great times then too. Yeah, L-Dog, it's funny you say that. With my second channel, that unsubs me from people all the time. It doesn't happen on this channel. It never unsubs me from people. But my other channel, and I've got a burner account as well, they always get unsubbed. I don't know why. But YouTube are being YouTube, man. Yeah, Glasgow as an adult in the 90s. That would be crazy, bro. You might not fucking make it out alive. Kazagi versus Kovalev, Canelo, and Froch. I think he outworks Froch to a UD. I think he outworks Canelo to maybe a split decision. Kovalev, 175. I think he might outlast Kovalev as well, I'm not going to lie. I know all 500 people on my street. Yeah, Depeche Mode, Enjoy the Silence. Enjoy the Silence is my favorite Depeche Mode song. It's a great tune, man. That's a great tune. It's funny, I got a fucking story about that song, but it's one of those, man. It's one of those. 2013, I think it was. I left college. I had no fucking job. Me and my friends tried to get into like business, and it wasn't kosher. Put it that way. Me and my friend had a big falling out. I've never spoken to him since. And I remember, driving home. It must have been like 12 o'clock at night, and I pulled up in a car parking lot, and I was just thinking about life. And that song came on, and I'll never forget that fucking moment. It's really fucking strange, man. And I wonder because like it's really poignant because that dude who I was in business with, air parentheses, but I was in business with him. Didn't work out. We fell out, and it's interesting what would have happened if we didn't fall out because he now is in prison for fucking doing an armed robbery. So it worked out for the better. But at the time, I thought my whole world was falling apart. I left college. I had nothing going for me. I fucked up my relationship at the time, and everything was going wrong. And I thought, fuck, man. And that song came on in the car when I was in the parking lot, just like sitting there thinking about life. It's crazy. Yeah, my generation is Blair. They're too sensitive. Yep. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. It's like this whole cancel culture mentality with people in 2021. Most of the time, it's not people being offended. It's I think people really enjoy trying to tear somebody down and ruin somebody when it comes to like social media. And, they like to ruin someone's career or reputation. They enjoy it. It's not about being offended or anything like that. People just like unremarkable people like to try and make somebody else's life a misery. That's what sad people do. And there's a lot of people like that in 2021, unfortunately. Muller's subscribed again too. Okay, interesting. So YouTube are fucking with his channel. Yeah, I like Depeche Mode, man. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, he saw the washing machine saw Depeche Mode in Paris and in London in the 1990s and 2000s. No, no idea. I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna listen to it. Yeah, Wu-Tang Gravel Pit. I like Wu-Tang. Like Killer Priest as well. I like all sorts of shit, you know. I like all sorts of shit. The Box Music channel? No, I don't remember. Policy of Truth, yep, another banger. I quite like New Order as well, like True Faith. That's a great song. I like some of its 80s and 90s cheese. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, GB Guthrie. Don't get me wrong. I liked the 90s because you actually had to go out and have a social life. But the end of it felt like a bridge between then and now. Yeah. Hey, it also goes to show how big of a difference a few years can make. Stick it out through the worst times, and you never know what's going to come up on the other side. Exactly. You just got to remain stoic and just keep on plugging away. Just keep on plugging away. Find what works for you. Find how to get through those moments, and yeah, just you'll come out the other side. There were certain things that worked for me, certain things that didn't work for me. You just got to find out yourself. What I will say is, when it comes to men's mental health, I don't buy the mainstream narrative. I'm just talking for myself when it comes to this. But growing up, we're always told, oh, it's okay for boys to share their emotions and talk to people, etc., etc. From a young age, I always thought that was bullshit. But I always did it because I was taught that's okay. But I always thought it was bullshit because every single time I did that, I felt like a fucking bitch for basically giving up a piece of myself, talking to somebody about my problems who I wasn't really all that close with or anything like that. For me, like, I'd rather remain stoic and let things internalize. And yeah, I deal with it in my own head, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but to me, talking to people was always the worst thing. It never helped me. It made me worse. It just made me even more fucking angry or pissed off about a certain situation. And yeah, this is basically how I viewed it. Even as a young kid, I always viewed it this way. Yeah, weakness is not a virtue. Yeah, exactly. That's how I perceive it anyway. That's how my brain perceives it. And again, what's right for me isn't going to be right for somebody else. But I'd rather not give anybody the satisfaction of seeing me in that position. I'll always kind of play it like I'm okay, I'm good, I'm cool, I'm kosher, but I'll deal with it my own way, kind of thing. And life's got so much better since I've done that. Like, things have worked out a lot better. Yeah, Sean Paul. Yeah, exactly. It could happen, bro. You never know. It could happen. Now, I was born in Peckham. But no, I didn't live there. Yeah, Spaceman. Yeah, yeah. There are certain songs like that. They'll bring you back to a certain time period in your life. Like, I get like that with a lot of songs from like 2011, 2010. So I just started college. You know, that was one of those periods of life where I had no worries whatsoever. Like, I had nothing to worry about. Like, every fucking other weekend was a house party and shit like that. Just so many good times back in those days. And certain songs come on and you think to yourself, man, that's 10 years ago now. It's like, shit. Yeah, it is. Yeah, sad how people lose touch with their friends so easily. It's something that just happens and you don't realize till it's too late. That is true, actually. Yeah, that is very true. Like from my quote unquote childhood, I'm close to 3 people. Like really, like they're my boys kind of thing. Exactly. Everybody has their own mechanisms. Indeed. Like for me, talking to people or putting my problems out there in the universe, it's not for me. Like I see these dudes out there, airing their problems on social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. I couldn't do that. I couldn't imagine doing that. And I don't think it's healthy for a lot of dudes. I think we've been taught, I don't know, men have been taught that it's okay to show weakness, when in reality, I don't think that puts us in a better headspace at all. Like I take the saying "boys don't cry." We're told now it's toxic. No, it's not. It's not at all. It's got a lot of meaning, that saying, and power and truth to it. Exactly, C4J. That's how I am as well. I can talk like my mum and my dad, like even my best mates. Like there's certain things I wouldn't talk about. I wouldn't talk about it. Yeah, it's okay to be open with your feelings, but not everyone needs to be in your inner circle. Yeah, and you got to really fucking trust people. Yeah, culture beat Mr. Vane. Laugh out loud. I think he will do. Pimp My Sniper. I think he will do. Yeah, to me, it's not the right way to go. I think we've been lied to when it comes to that. But so I've got a theory when it comes to men's mental health. Like I'm talking from a man's perspective. We're told that it's okay for a man to come out with his problems and talk to anybody and everybody about it. Men's mental health in 2021 is far more of an open topic than it's ever been, right? And there's more support out there. If that's the case, and it is true, why at the same time are men's suicide rates going through the roof? Why is depression in men going through the roof year by year? Maybe because we're taught that the way they try and teach us how to deal with it is the wrong way for a man. That's my theory. I believe a guy, for the most part, should be stoic and not show those weaknesses to randoms, random people. Because back in the day, if you did that, you're dead. You're showing you're weak to your fellow man. You're dead back in the day, like hundreds of years ago. I'm talking about. You're dead if you show weakness, kind of thing. So it's one of those things, man. I think men have been taught the wrong thing about mental health. I know that's going to be controversial to a lot of people, but exactly, men gain nothing sharing emotions. You just end up showing your weakness. People later exploit facts. And yeah, I realized that from a very, very young age. Like even now, even at a young age, like I was always called like cold and shit like that. But it works for me, man. I've got through a lot of shit with my mindset and how I deal with things. I got through a lot of shit, so it's worked for me. And again, it's not going to work for everybody, but yeah, I've been to Amsterdam. Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam. Yeah, great place, man. To be honest with you, though, washing machine, I fucking didn't see anything. I was just blazed for a whole week. Yeah, exactly. Showing weakness is never good to do. I prefer to go to a gym and spar unlicensed fighters. Gets all of my anger and hate out. It allows me to be laid back in general. Yeah, that's the thing as well. Never have any regrets in life. It's a great journey. Yeah. Shit, I just drink when I feel emotional or just use CBD shit. That's the thing. The truth I live with is nobody is better than me. Changed my life. Yeah. Exactly. That's the best way to look at it. Yeah. The trick is to figure out what works for you in terms of looking after your mental health. There's no one glove fits all solution. I agree. Yeah, exactly. BG London. It's a modern thing. It's a modern phenomenon, I guess you would say. And again, you have to look at this like it coincides with like it's a more open topic now. There's more support out there, but men are committing suicide on record rates year by year. Men are being diagnosed with quote unquote depression year on year, but there's more support. It's more open. How can that be? How can that be the case? How can cases be rising? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, half the time the battle is with yourself, and you only know yourself how to correct it or lie to yourself. Yeah, yeah. Weakness is okay. It's good to be weak. The strong are evil. This is what they are telling people now. Embrace the Nietzschean will to power and accept that only the strong survive. Yes, exactly. It's a charming, soft generation. Yeah, me neither. To be honest, Al. Me neither. Maybe I've just naturally gravitated towards those sort of people, but soy lattes all around, vegan, of course. I can't lie, I regret not banging some of my mates' girlfriends. Oh dear. When it comes to women, man, I do have regrets. I'm not going to lie. I fucked up so many opportunities, particularly when I was younger with certain chicks. Like maybe things that could have lasted, but the last couple of years, man, I'm not going to lie. I've only been interested in fucking, but exactly, exactly. Recognize. That's what I'm trying to get at. Recognize. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I was saying earlier, I'm not sure whether you was here, but I'm 20, 27 now. And even when I was young, it was kind of being taught then that it's okay for boys to cry. You can share your problems with anybody, blah, blah, blah. And even back as a kid, I felt, and any time I did that, I felt this doesn't feel right. It makes me feel like a bitch. And I realized from very young that it's not for me. So, I deal with my problems my own way. I guess I internalize it and just carry on. That's all I can really. That's how I can describe it. Just carry on, keep on working, keep on striving to where you want to get to. Just remain stoic. Don't let anybody see, you know, what you're going through, kind of thing. You got to be strong for other people as well. Drink lots of water. 3 pints before I sleep. It helps. Mate, I'll be up all night pissing, man. If I drink 3 pints of water before sleep. Yeah, I'm on. That's another thing, Jared Thompson. So I'm 27 as well. Apart from my close mates, like I got like three real like close mates. I would say who I would like fucking do anything for, kind of thing. But like talking to people my generation for the most part, I find a fucking struggle. Got nothing in common with a lot of people my generation. Yeah, you know what's crazy? When you're young, you don't realize how many girls are trying to get with you, but when you're older, it hits you and you're like, damn, yeah, you can't read the signals. You can't read the telltale signs. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, man. I could have been slaying so much earlier, man. I was just such a noob. You know what I mean, man? I was such a noob. Yeah, the old Ericsson 388, and yeah, that's it. No, I had a Nokia 3310 when I was like 6 years old, man. 7 years old, I think it was. Yeah, it was slowly being taught back in my 20s, the 90s. Yeah. So it coincides when I kind of, grew up, kind of thing. So I was born 94, and like in the 2000s in school, it was really being preached, kind of thing, really being drummed into us. Exactly, washing machines. You got to let your hair down sometimes. Yeah, a lot of dudes are lost causes now. A few dabs always puts a smile on my face. Even though I look like Denis Lebedev and have a body of Andy Ruiz, I've never had a problem with women. Exactly, man. You just got to do, find your thing, innit? Just be yourself, be able to communicate relatively well, have some banter. There's no fucking like. You see these like red pill dating coaches online, like trying to like make some ultra complicated way of having to, how to talk to a girl and get her interested. It's not that deep, man. It's not that hard. Just confidence and have the confidence to approach somebody and be able to hold a conversation. You won't go far wrong. I mean, and ultimately, it's a numbers game. You're going to get rejected. Of course, you are. You're going to get rejected. It happens. If people are honest about it, if you approach every single girl you like, or you see in the club who you could like, if you approach every single girl who you'd want to get with, a lot are going to reject you. You just got to get over that. But it's a numbers game. Eventually, some chick's going to be responsive. You're going to hit it off. It's not that hard. You don't need a fucking dating coach on how to talk to a woman. Just dress nice, be well groomed, smell nice, and be able to talk to a chick. Just hold a conversation. Yeah, I know the feeling. Our generation, chatting to certain people, it's difficult for the most part. Most people can't grasp anything. Yeah, like you can't have any real deep, stimulating conversations with people our age. Like you're a similar age to me. You're like the same age. I think you might be a year older, maybe. But I know I get you, man. I totally get you. You can't have like conversations past like football or like basic shit. Like just you can talk about entertainment, football, sport, etc. You can talk about that, but you can't talk about anything meaningful or deep or anything like that. My throat's going, man. Yeah, I should start making merch, G Junior. I should do. Yeah, some of these emo men just need hobbies. Yeah, exactly. Like I was looking into like on the second channel, I was going to do a video on like incel killers. Incels, what they are, and I was just doing some going down a YouTube rabbit hole. I was looking at some incel vlogs, and these guys, man, it's almost sad. It's kind of sad to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. Like it's kind of funny in a way, but like it's sad, man. Like these guys, it's like been totally stripped of their masculinity, just sitting there like, oh, I'm blackpilled. It's basically saying, oh, it's okay for me to give up and wallow in my own self-pity. There's nothing masculine about that at all. It's like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, most people have body counts higher than their IQ. Yeah, that's right. That's right. My regret was having kids and marriage, as you only have to pay CSA, it goes wrong. You only settle down with the right female. If you're not, you're screwed in the UK. 70% of marriages end in the first 3 years. Yeah, it's crazy. The divorce rates are crazy now. I don't think I'd get married to an English girl. I'll be honest with you. I'd want to get married to a chick who is ideally from a more like traditional background where marriage is still somewhat sacred and important and whatnot. A chick who's socially conservative, I would say, that sort of thing. I'd get married to somebody like that. So maybe like a Polish chick or fucking Ukrainian or Russian or Bulgarian. Fucking Cuban. I know a lot of Cubans are quite, that way inclined. Maybe a nice big booty Cuban. But I don't think I'll ever get married to an English girl, honestly. Oh yeah, great fight. Somebody was talking about that earlier, Unrivaled. That's a great fight. Hopefully it happens. I've got Ioka, but it's a great fight. It's a great fucking fight. He might as well fight Jesse Vargas. Exactly, bro, L-Dog. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go to a woman, tell her all your problems and cry in front of her because real men cry. Yeah, exactly. See how far you get. See how far you get. But that's basically what's being taught, though. That's basically what's being taught. I pay CSA to two Irish UK women I was with for decades in the past. 2 years to go. I'm free, yeah. You must be spending a lot of money on that shit, bro. And that child support. Yeah. Lucky you, Jared, man. Lucky. Keep hold of her, then. Keep hold of her. A Nordic size talking to L-Dog. Shadow combat. Never knew how attractive I was until I lost weight and got lean enough to see my facial features. Model handsome. Yes, man. Go out there and slay. Yeah, big up to Mark every single time. Great channel, by the way. Unrivaled. Really, really good channel. One of the best on YouTube when it comes to boxing. The man is a fountain of knowledge across all spectrums of boxing. And also Nordic Warrior, another great channel. And also check out Recognize the Matrix. He does like live panels, anything goes type of content when it comes to boxing. But all of his shows are fucking great. Sometimes they get taken down because it gets a little bit raucous, but it's a great show, man. It's a great show. Yeah, I do worry about the next generation. So many social skills and societal norms have just completely gone out the window. Yeah, like our generation is bad now. So think about the next generation. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, honestly. Yeah, big city, females everywhere. I've never had a problem getting them, even as a nerd in my 20s and now. Emos and incels are cunts, yeah. And these guys, man, with YouTube channels who are like incel channels or black pill channels, to me, they're really fanning the flames of a crisis in masculinity, man. They're just fucking fueling what the powers that be are trying to do. They're basically preaching that, yeah, you are shit. You are a fucking beta little bitch. You can't get a woman. That's basically what they're preaching. Yeah, he was an incel. Yeah, the Plymouth shooter. Yeah, it's true, old dog. That is true. That is true. And it's less competition, I guess, as well. They say men bond over hobbies, women bond over being open. Yeah, exactly. And there's something in that. If you're working your 9 to 5 and you're coming home and you're doing absolutely nothing, and let's say you're single, you do your 9 to 5, you come home and you've got no hobbies, you've got no interests, you do absolutely nothing apart from watch shit TV and shit Netflix shows. Of course, you're going to be depressed. You do need you need some sort of hobbies and other goals outside of work, and yeah, most of these red pill pickup channels are just grifters. Yeah, exactly. Like, it wouldn't be hard to make one of those channels. Honestly, it wouldn't be hard to make one of those channels. And I'm sure a lot of these guys, man, they're so-called proof videos. I guarantee you they just pay girls kind of thing. It's just a big grift. Yeah, exactly. Best thing I did was get married at 16. Fair play to you, man. Yeah, they're trying to sell their courses, basically. You know what I mean? Exactly, recognize. Far harder today to like get a settled relationship and then go for marriage. It's far harder. But it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna be super far. I'm super picky. I'm still playing the field, man. I'm just enjoying myself for the time being. And I think you got to have game as well these days. I think you got to fuck as a man. I think you do have to fuck around these days. Um, you got to run through a lot of hoes before you find the one. That's my theory anyway. You got to run through a lot of trash, a lot of hoes before you actually find somebody who is, could be the one kind of thing. But failing that, we could relocate to fucking Miami and find ourselves a big fat ass Cuban chick. Yeah, no doubt, Nordic. Yeah, yeah. I think incels are just a product of their time. Men have been completely brainwashed and messed up and have no idea on how to actually be men. Yeah, 100%, 100%. No, yeah, I totally agree. But I think these so-called channels preaching that sort of that sort of viewpoint on the world, man. I think those channels are so fucking dangerous. They're indoctrinating a whole bunch of young boys they reinforce their beliefs, kind of thing, and it just fucking creates a whole generation of just fuck ups, I guess. No worries, G Junior. No worries, man. Yeah, it's cringy as fuck. I always knew how handsome and intelligent I was. It was just so abundantly obvious. Dave Allen is the ultimate alpha male. Yeah, I feel the same way, G man. I feel like lads like me and you were born in the wrong decades or centuries too late. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big up Recognized though. Great channel, man. Really good channel. Exactly. Yeah, we're like-minded people. We come together. We talk about boxing, and then from there, we kind of gravitate to people who view the world similar to what we do, kind of thing. It all works itself out. You go to let's say, I don't know, whatever hobby it may be. You might fucking like bird watching. I don't give a fuck. Whatever it is, you could fucking like bird watching. You go fucking to the bird watching club. You'll mingle with people. You bond over that hobby, and then you find out more about each other. Then you gravitate towards the people who are like minded on how you view the world, kind of thing. But is there any point getting married for a man these days? Feels like you surrender your rights and money. Laugh out loud. Well, it's down to you, I guess. It's down to the individual. It's down to how you feel about the woman you're with. And legally, there are things you can do, I'm sure, to protect yourself if you want to go down that road. Adele is playing the field at World Buffet. Yeah, I can't knock their hustle though. Overhand, I can't knock their hustle. Exactly, bro. I love trains, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. And astronomy, my two main hobbies and passions. Yeah, fair play to you, man. Yeah, what sort of bird watching we talking? Exactly, man. What? But yeah, just it's crazy, man. I think people are like just warped with consumerism. Like it's not a hobby to sit and watch fucking shit shows on Netflix all day and all that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. Train spotting. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, man. Whatever your fucking hobby is, find something that you're passionate about. Del, if you marry a Ukrainian, keep them away from Western women. They'll corrupt her mind. Yeah. Boxing and blunts were my hobbies. Darts and watches are closing in as well. Yeah. So what are my hobbies? So obviously YouTube would be one on both sides. Just being a boxing fan in general is another. I like cooking. Obviously, just being social with my friends is another. There's all sorts I like, man. There's all sorts I like. Planet Neptune. Yep. I remember. Sorry, I remember in my younger days getting 20 numbers at Notting Hill Carnival. I was a savage, laugh out loud. Yeah, I used to like gaming, but I kind of got out of it. I used to like gaming though. I play like a game occasionally now and again, but I play like Warzone kind of thing now and again. But I wouldn't call gaming a hobby anymore. It's just really a like a pastime kind of thing. But yeah, my hobbies are boxing, YouTube, cooking, and just just spending time with my loved ones, kind of thing. I'll tell you what, I've been getting into like walking as well, like just like driving to random parts, like nice places, and walking and shit. That I don't mind doing that now and again. Like, yeah, it's one of those. Bruce goes boxing, weed, jazz, pro wrestling, weightlifting, and nutrition. Exactly, man. We've all got to have our things, man. Gaming cafes are in my city centre, and I go and play World of Tanks sometimes. See, if you're into gaming, see, that's a good idea. Like, actually going to a gaming cafe. It might be more social. You could meet people, rather than kind of sit inside on your own. And that could be a good thing for a lot of people. Foraging. You mean like collecting food and whatnot? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I've done that, believe it or not. That's something I want to get into. Is like, I want to get into fishing, but not fishing in like the traditional sense, I guess I would say. I want to get into fishing where I can catch a fish and like kill it and eat it, kind of thing. Like basically hunt for my own food, kind of thing. I want to get into that. That's something I plan on getting into at some point. But it's time. But I really want to get into that. My hobby used to be racing till I racked up too many points on my license. Guitar, yep, guitar, boxing, athletics, all sounds good, man. Damn, I can imagine. I can imagine, man. Ah, Bruce goes. That sounds amazing. You catch a fish from your front porch and eat it. That sounds fucking amazing. Honestly, I see. I'd love to do something like that. I'd love that. That'd be amazing to have like a property and like a lake in my back garden where I can fish and like just catch something and eat it for my dinner. That'd be amazing. That's one thing I need. I've actually really planned though on trying to get back in, like trying to get into is like things like walking and I want to get into fishing and things like that, and it will happen. It will happen. Just finding new things, to occupy your mind and get invested in, kind of thing. Things that are genuinely rewarding. That's the main thing. Like I used to waste so much time like after work where I wouldn't do anything. I'd like come home and just cook my dinner and mong about and do nothing and watch shit TV shows or do whatever. And recent years I've kind of got away from that a lot, but not to the extent in which I need to. Like I want to make my time that I have free as meaningful as possible, and it's definitely more meaningful than it was previously because I wasted so much time back in the day. Jesus Christ, we've been going for fucking 2 hours and 45 minutes. Fucking hell. I don't know how we went this long. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. It is getting a bit late. It's 12 o'clock in the night. Yeah, 12 o'clock in the evening in the UK. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I think I'm going to probably head to bed in a minute, to be honest. I'm fucking knackered. So yeah, thank you guys for showing out as always. If you could smash the like, be much appreciated. Enjoy the fight tonight if you're staying up for it. And yeah, man, peace out, guys. Peace.